What is up, everyone? Today we're going to be hopping on board one of the longest and probably one of the funnier looking airplanes that's in the air today, and that's the A340-600. Now there's not a ton of these left in the air, so we're going to be heading out to Munich to fly back to JFK in New York aboard one of the Lufthansa A340s. Now, in the honor of being truthful, I did fly this route actually from JFK to Munich, and I did have to use a couple of those clips embedded in here to give you guys the full look at the aircraft. But regardless, let's go ahead and take a look. We hopped off the train here at Munich, and from there you can go to either terminal. Terminal 2 is going to be where we are heading today. Terminal 1's most of the low-cost carriers within the EU. Once you head inside there, downstairs is all of United and the other Star Alliance carriers, and if you go up the escalator you can reach all the rest of the Lufthansa counters. Now we're actually traveling in economy class today just because I wanted to sit as far back in a super long airplane as I could, but my Star Alliance priority actually allows me to use the business class counter, so I did have a shorter line in order to check in. However, the economy line didn't really look all that long. And as always, we have to make an obligatory stop at the departure board. I just love seeing these in these terminals, all the different cities, thinking about all the different places you can go. And with bags checked and looked at all our departures, figured out where we're going, we're heading through our first step of immigration here, just a passport scan, and you head right through. No, nothing official yet. After that, we headed on to just your normal security, just like in the US as TSA operates, where you put your stuff on the belt and go through a scanner, and you yourself walk through a scanner. And the process all in all didn't take more than about 5, maybe 10 minutes max. After that, it dumps you out into the main part of Terminal 2. And there's a number of wings here, but this is just the main part, and you'll see that there's trains that can take you all around the terminal, as well as to the international parts. Now, Lufthansa actually does have a number of lounges throughout the airport. However, you're only actually granted access to whatever lounge is in the concourse that you are flying out of. Now the G and H gates are in the first wing that you enter past security. However, out in the distance here you can see a second wing, and those are the J, K, and L gates, and we're actually going to head out there. Now the way Munich sets up their airport is it's all one wing, but those are different levels. So J in this case being the lower level, K being the middle level, and L being the upper level. And the biggest thing is just each level depends on how much security you need. So a lot of times the flights to the US will leave out of the L gates, and there's just additional security, and you'll see that coming up. For now, however, we've got to hop on the train here out to the satellite part of Terminal 2, out to the J, K, and L gates, and you'll see what we got when we get there. So out of the train, you got J on the lower level. You see in the middle level here, we got the K gates, and we actually have to go up one more level to the L gates, and all the flights departing to the US are going to be out of the L gates, and you'll see there's a little bit extra step for security measures to enter those gates. Now once you get up to the L gates in Munich Airport, first step you're going to come across the passport control, and you can head through that before getting released into the openness where they have restaurants, lounges, and stuff like that. It's not the final check before you get on board the airplane, but it is the first security step after you get off the satellite connector. Now down below you're seeing the concourse for the K gates. You can see some restaurants and stuff down there. Those flights are all departing to EU destinations, so they don't need the further passport control. And upstairs now in our secure area is all the passengers needing passport control to get to their destinations. So places like the US and Canada are going to operate flights out of the upper level. Now, just like in JFK and in all other areas here, the Star Alliance priority, even as an economy traveler, will get you access to the lounge. You also can get access as a business or first class traveler, and they do actually have specific lounges for business and first class in some places. However, up in the L gates, these are actually combined into one lounge. It was still early, about 8 a.m. here when I got here, so they had the breakfast spread out, but it was a pretty great selection. I was able to get a bunch of stuff, load up, and we did get fed 2 meals on the flight, but it was the good stuff before departure while we were hanging out. And from the lounge, you can get a pretty good view here of the ramp. Here you can see one of the A340-600s being towed, and this one was actually heading out to Boston, so it wasn't mine. But it is just some good perspective. You can see just how long these planes actually are. Now looking around some of the other stuff we've got here in the lounge in the L gates in Munich. Right here they got some relaxation and sleeping chambers, so if you need a place to take a nice rest, they got some beds or just some places to hang out and meditate. Just across the way from that, they've got some shower suites, so we got to take advantage of that as always. And other than that, it's just your pretty basic lounge, but an easy place to charge up, get some food before you board. Now the US flights were all separated here in the document check, another secure area inside the international secured area. So they broke it down by flights you could get in your line. There's the economy class line here. And then all travelers in business and first class or Star Alliance Gold members had their own lanes and they could get in there. And this was just a way to check your passports and documents before entering the United States. Once you clear that document check, you were in another secure area with only about 10 gates. Now, fair warning, there is only one actual restaurant, if you want to call it that. It's kind of a deli kind of place, and some vending machines if you wanted some food, but there wasn't much options. Didn't take long though until our plane started showing up here. You can see our plane. It was actually arriving from New York, and it was a little bit late, but it was the same plane taking us right back to New York.
Snacks from there?
And as we sat here watching people get off the incoming flight from New York, we could see another one of those planes actually taxi in from Los Angeles, going back to Los Angeles. So just like how 747s are everywhere in Frankfurt, A340s seem to be everywhere here in Munich. Now, while boarding in this part of the airport, you can really see how they use these different levels. So we are in the upper level in the L gates, which is a secured area for international travelers. We go down this escalator, which actually is the K gates, and so this gate can be used by either level, really. If you take a right turn here, you can see K25. We boarded from L25. So either one can access the jet bridge. It's just a matter of how secure they need the area to be. Now arriving at the seat, you'll see nothing special about it. It's just your standard economy seat. There's normal leg room, normal pocket space, normal just about everything. So nothing too special about the seat. One thing I will make a note about is that under the seat is your life jacket, and it blocks your legroom and also your space to put a backpack under the seat. So I wasn't actually able to fully put my backpack under the seat. So I just took out what I needed, but even still trying to sleep, it was hard to stretch my legs out with that life jacket sitting there. Now I will mention, even though it's a quad jet, unless you're in a very specific part of the aircraft, you can actually only see one engine on each wing, and that's just part of how long the airplane is. You just don't have the visibility of the other engine.
Liebe Gäste, wir bitten Sie, sich mit den Sicherheitsvorkehrungen vertraut zu machen.
We will now show you.
Lassen Sie Ihr Handgepäck an Bord. Sollte der Druck in der Kabine sinken, fallen automatisch Sauerstoff.
Now this is actually a clip from our startup back in JFK on our flight out to Munich. And you'll see this exhaust coming out the bottom, which I believe to be the oil exhaust. And I noticed that entire flight wasn't as visible on the flight out to Munich. If you know more about it, have a comment down below.
After putting on the mask, smoking is strictly prohibited at all times while on board this aircraft. For takeoff and landing, you're required to place any devices with a transmission function in flight mode or switch them off completely. You can use the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth function during the entire stay on board. Kindly adjusting the seat position can damage your device and the battery can become a fire hazard.
United
flight map here, you'll notice that the plane they show on the map is not the plane that we're actually on. So, if you know if that's a thing across all Lufthansa airplanes, let me know. But that's not my experience so far. As far as in-flight entertainment goes, they have a good selection on the screens. You can also get it to your device actually through their FlyNight system. You can also purchase Wi-Fi through this. So this is a screen recording of kind of what that looks like. There's a number of different plans you can use. They have some basic messaging ones if all you're looking for is just being able to send some text. They also have different Wi-Fi abilities, so you can buy it for just a portion of the flight or for the full flight. And the nice thing, kind of like United Airlines, you can use money to pay for these, or you can also use some of your miles. A little over an hour into the flight, our first drink service came through. I do kind of like the cup holder it gives you here so you can keep your leg space free. I took a Sprite and enjoyed while we waited for our meal to show up. This is actually also a clip from the flight from JFK to Munich. I actually didn't get a good shot from Munich back to JFK, but this is something that makes the A340-600 so special, is that there's actually no bathrooms on the main deck. If you walk actually between the galley here, between the two economy cabins, you'll see this big stairwell. If you take that stairwell down, there's actually all of the restrooms for the economy cabin are located down below. Now down there is actually about 5-6 bathrooms, which proved to not quite be enough. In all honesty, throughout the flight it looked like there was always a queue forming up and down these stairs and in the galley waiting for these restrooms. But I do like the idea. These restrooms have a little more space to work with. There's no galley or anything or seats they have to fit. The bathrooms actually were a pretty nice size, finally our first meal got served here. It was chicken or pasta. I went with the pasta option. It also came with a brie cheese, bread roll, small salad, and a raspberry crumble. And I went with just a normal Coca-Cola to drink with that. Shortly before arrival came quite possibly the worst thing I've ever been given on an airplane, food-wise. It was this dry sandwich. It had shredded carrot, sliced cucumber, and a piece of cheese on it. And that was it. It was super dry, and I actually ended up not eating it. It was just basically inedible. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the Parkway visual arrival into JFK, it is kind of a fun one when it is VFR out. So you can see here, you just come from the south side of Long Island, you hook around and down into JFK. So it is kind of cool. If you're on the left side of the plane, you might be able to get a view of Manhattan, although your wing is raised for a lot of that turn, but it is kind of fun. Now, the other cool thing is I did have some eyes on the ground for this arrival. So go ahead and watch our approach from inside the airplane. But after that, I've got some clips here from what this looked like from the ground.
Ist der Kleid angeschnallt? Muss man das halt im Sitz dann drin? Okay, jetzt lang. Wir schauen uns hier lang. Wieder warm. Gleich setzen wir auf.
so lange angeschnallt sitzen, bis wir unsere Parkposition erreicht haben und die Anschnallzeichen ausgeschaltet sind. Sitztaschen
Hast du alles beieinander?
Vergessen. Die Cockpit-Crew von Kapitän Jammer, die gesamte Kabine wünschen Ihnen einen schönen verbleibenden Sonntag hier in York oder eine angenehme und sichere Weiterreise. Entschuldigen Sie bitte die Verstehen, any personal belongings on board. We apologize for not getting you.
As we deplane here, you'll see the premium economy cabin, which is set up similar configuration to this one, just with a little bit more legroom. You'll see the business class cabin, which is set up in a 2-2-2 configuration. And then lastly, super briefly, you'll see the first class cabin. There's only a couple rows of that in a 1-2-1 configuration. Now, I will be flying in Lufthansa's first class product on the 747 next year, early next year, so keep an eye out for that video. I'm super excited for that one, sitting right up in the nose of the airplane. But in the meantime, just take a look at this cabin here as we get off. Now, one quick note before I sign off here: if you are departing out of JFK and Lufthansa, the lounge is super easy to miss. You can see you leave TSA here at Terminal 1 and it's directly after security. If you start walking through the terminal, you'll miss it, and it's super easy to miss. There's not a ton of signage for it. Once you get inside the lounge, however, there is 2 levels: downstairs in business class and upstairs in first class. Now, I did scope both of those out. Food was just about the same. Views were a little bit better from the upper level, as it tends to be. And there's also shower suites and some fantastic dining. I didn't get to take advantage of the nice dining today, but there's a terrace up there that's known for its dining. So if you do get the chance to check it out, I recommend it. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys. I got some cool videos coming up soon, but in the meantime, thanks so much for watching. I look forward to putting another video up for you guys soon. See ya. Peace.